Good morning or afternoon, everyone. I am going to do this video with you today to hopefully keep us on track and not fall behind. You do have an assessment at the end of the week on Friday, and I don't want to try to play catch up, so I would rather do the video with you and you continue learning while I am out, and then we can just pick up from where you left off and keep going hopefully tomorrow. So my son is sick. He does have the flu, and I will definitely be out today, possibly tomorrow. We'll see how he's feeling, but I'm going to keep you on track and us continue to go on. So you should have your computer already, and you should also have the handout from the front table. We are going to go through the lesson. There's a couple places in there where I'm going to ask you to pause the video, so please make sure you're pausing the video and trying it on your own, and then continuing on. There is going to be a graded assignment at the end as well as an incentive, so stick with me and we will get through it. Alright, let's start with your warm-up. So for your warm-up, you're going to complete the table of fun facts by writing the letter of the decimal notation or scientific notation in the appropriate space. So underneath your table, you should have letters A through L, I believe, and you are going to match those uppercase letters with the lowercase letters that are in the table of filling in the corresponding scientific notation or standard notation. So please take a second, pause the video, and do that now. Alright, so I'm going to go over with you how to do one from standard notation to scientific notation. I know here they call this decimal notation, but we've been calling this standard form or standard notation. So the decimal point for standard notation is at the end of the large number. So I'm going to count over. I need a number between 1 and 10 for my first factor. That is my coefficient, and I am multiplying that by a power of 10 to some exponent, and that exponent is the number of times I move that decimal. So I'm going to count over how many times. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm going to move that decimal over 11 places to go in between the 2, 9, 7, 6. Since I moved it 11 places, that becomes my exponent. So you're doing that for all of the ones that are in standard notation. If it's in scientific notation, you're just transferring it out. So for the second one, I would have 6, sorry about that, I would have 6, 4, 1, 9, 6, and I'm moving that decimal out 7 places. So that would be 4, and I would be adding 3 more places to it. So that would give me the number 64,196,000. So I'm going to pop over to my little answer key. You should already have all of these filled in. If you don't, again, pause the video and work through them. I'm going to show you my answers now. So A should be G. B should be I, which we just went through. Then C should be B. D, J. E, D. And F, H. Again, I've gone through and I've shown you how I put a decimal and move my decimal place. Your exponent is the number of times you move your decimal place, and your coefficient has to be a number between 1 and 10. Alright, so how do we write a large or a small number in scientific notation? We kind of just went through that. Remember that you have a first number times 10 to some power. This is called our coefficient, and that coefficient has to be between 1 and 10. So it can be equal to 1. So 1 less than or equal to 1, or it has to be less than 10. And our exponent is the number of times you move the decimal. So keep all of that in mind while we're going through these next couple activities. Our first activity, I was going to do a card sort with you, so I'm kind of just going to give you the cards and we're going to list them from least to greatest. Okay, so I'm going to flash you, let's say 4 cards first, maybe 6, and then pause it, write them down, and I will give you the other 2, and you are going to transfer them. So I'm going to show you 8 cards total. You're going to write them down and transfer them all out of scientific notation to standard form, and then list them from least to greatest. So let me show you the cards. Here are the first 4. Go ahead and write those down. Here's the next 4. And the last 2. So you're going to take these cards and you are going to transfer them. If it's in scientific notation regularly, or if it has this E. So this E here just means scientific notation. So this would be the same thing as me writing 3.40000 times 10 to the 6th power. So that would be like moving it out to the 6th power. Okay. So you're going to take these numbers and you are going to transfer them to standard form, and then you're going to list them from least to greatest. I can show you on my paper that your least number should be 120,000. So I want you to write what it would be in standard notation first, and then underneath it you're going to write what it was in scientific notation. And again, you're going to write them from least to greatest. I'm going to move on and show you what I'd like you to do for the rest of the packet, and then you can kind of go through and work your way through the different examples. There's not much me teaching, it's just more you doing. So the next part of your handout should be comparing. So in your comparing, you are going to transfer these numbers into standard form. So for example, I would be moving 4.58 times 10 to the 6th to be 458. That's 2 places. 3, 4, 5, 6. On the next one, I would be going the opposite direction because it's a negative exponent. So I would have 0.12345 would be the 4. And then for the next one, 4, 5, 8, that's 2, and 1 more for moving it, 3. And for the last one, anything times 10 to the 0 power is that anything back, because 10 to the 0 power is 1. So this would be 4.58. So for this card, I would be putting them in order from least to greatest. So my least number, or my lowest number here, would be the second one. So that's number 1. Then 2, 3, and 4. You're going to go through the first 4 cards like that. And then the last 2 cards are actually going to compare numbers. So you're going to have to transfer them and then tell me which one's greater, less than, or equal to. So for this one here, your number would be like that. And the number over here. So for here, I would be saying that my right number is greater than my left number. My left number would be my number on the left. Similar for the second one, I would have 370,000 versus 450,000. So for this one as well, my right number is greater than my left number. So for my last two cards, that's what I'm going to go through, and that is what I am going to do. So that's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to go through the scientific notation cards, list them from least to greatest, and then I'd like you to go through the 6 sets of practice and either transfer them and then label them from least to greatest or greatest to least, depending on what it says. Make sure you're paying attention. Some of them are greatest to least. Some of them are in descending order, ascending order. So increasing, descending order is decreasing. The first one we listed from least to greatest. And then the last two you are comparing. After you're done with all of that and you feel confident, you are going to rip off the back page, which is your cool down for today's lesson. So you're going to go through and you are going to complete the cool down. This is your graded assignment for the day. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to use the data in the table and you're going to arrange the planets from least to greatest. So you have to go through and you have to transfer all of their masses, and then you are going to label them from least to greatest. Just by their planet name is fine. And then part B, you're going to explain to me how you determined the order of the mass of the planets. If you found some shortcuts or however it is that you listed those in order from least to greatest. When you're done with that, you're going to place that in the inbox, your blocks inbox. And after you are done with your cool down for the day, I have a challenge for you. So after you're done with your cool down, make sure you go in and you put today's lesson in your binder. You're gonna self-reflect and mark your learning targets for the day of ordering standard and scientific notation values from least to greatest and comparing numbers in scientific notation. And then we are going to work on a Dreambox challenge. So for every 3 lessons you complete, I will give you a piece of candy tomorrow. And if you complete 10 lessons today, I'll place your name in a drawing for lunch on Friday from either Arby's or Royal Farms. So you can decide on which one you would like. I hope to be back tomorrow. And if you have any questions or some dire concerns, you are more than welcome to message me after school. And I can try to go over some things with you that way. There are some IXL lessons that you can practice. So you can go into G1 and G2. That would be scientific notation and comparing numbers. That can also help with this content. Again, your assessment is on Friday. So please make sure that you are completing your work as well as understanding what you are doing. All right, I hope you all have a good day, and I will hopefully see you tomorrow.